So, while the twigs are drying up, what do I want to do? I took a wire 1.2 mm thick, which will be the basis for the twig. Here, to which we will attach the flower stalks. What are we going to do? What do I want to do? At the base of the branch itself, there are small parts of leaves. It will look very nice, but you need to make small leaves for this. So, now we are going to do it. Again, take the leaf veiner. So, we used green clay. We need a small amount of clay, a very small piece. Since we have very few leaves, this amount will be enough. So, we take green paint. All the same, it is herbal green. Stir. These leaves should be slightly lighter. We will even while toning. Alternatively, we will not tone it. We will see, because they turn out like new young leaves. Quite light. Young buds, which are always at the base of the twigs. This color will be okay. It is not necessary to make it more intensive, because it will get darker when it dries. Now we take it. We need to make leaves. The leaves will be small, no more than 2 cm in size. It depends on your wish. We take it. I guess I will roll out manually. On the hand, we remove this clay so that it does not dry out. We'll need more starch. The leaves themselves are rounded. I am making such a small drop. I put it on the back of my hand. I take a stack. I'll roll it out. I roll it out a little. So, this will probably be one of the biggest. It is not necessary to make it more. So, starch. We go through with the veiner with starch so that the leaf does not stick. Now we will print. We will print in the place where there are more bruises. On the veiner itself. So, now you can even crush it. It turns out just such a leaf. We will bend it. I will not plant on the wire yet. I'll leave it that way. We still need to make a few of these leaves. We will make it smaller and we will roll out thinner. I do a drop. I roll it thinner so that there are more transparency. To have more trepidation, I will add here so that they are more varied. We press. So, another leaf. Then we will form them in a small pile. So, you can make the leaves even smaller. Several leaves. Roll out the drop gently. So, the main thing is that the middle coincides with the veiner. To have a vein in the center. It turned out. We take it out carefully so as not to break. we put it. We'll do a couple more of these, and we'll have enough. Such kits, small leaves, small new ones, which will be at the very beginning of the branch. So, we put it neatly, equally in the middle. We press. So that's it. I should have missed. Let's go through the starch because we are already starting to stick. Sometimes one time is not enough at all. I roll it out, making a leaf. Here is a kit. I apply to the middle and press with a veiner. Here's another piece of paper ready. We'll do one more and that's it. It would be enough. Also small. Also small. We put it. It jumped off. So, on the veiner, we press. So, that's all. The leaves are ready. Next, we will add them as needed and glue it to the twig, to the wire. So, I take the wire, leaves. Now we're going to make the curve we need. So, we still have this leaf. We will need to glue it to the wire. We will glue all the rest to it already. Carefully. We go through with glue. The very tip of the wire. We glue the leaflet at the base. So, we make the leaf bend more. Now, we need to coat the rest of the leaves with glue since we will glue them all. Now we will glue it to the main leaf. So, we smear with glue at the base and begin to glue carefully. You can do it here. Again, creating a bend like this. We are overlaying leaves and together. Since they grow in this order, as a fan, we coat it carefully. We take it. We glue. You can wrinkle it a little to be crumpled. Since the leaves are new, very young, they're not open. So, therefore you can mash it safely. Another. The same thing. We glue. We coat it with glue. A little bit. Don't overdo it. So, now from this side. And you can also do it from this side. We just glue with this little one. So, we apply. We remember them a little. Here's what happened in the end. This will be the very base, the very tip of the branch. Here, you can leave it to dry. In principle, you can already glue it. Roll it in with clay a little. So, we remove unnecessary things that we do not need. Leave the glue. We will glue the very top a little now. So, now we need to run in. Roll in brown clay. I take a small amount. Glue, of course. So, we coat it with glue. Here at the bottom of the leaves. And we begin to glue the clay. Carefully. Moving the clay down. So, how far are we going to do this? Let's see. So that later you can attach the twig. Again, we'll be guided by the photo frame. Let's create an additional band. Here and here. So. Perhaps this will be enough. We will not do it any longer. We take a napkin and start pressing. So. They pressed it. You can wrinkle the edge so that there is more intensity. Such bruises. All this, of course, is done when it is just run in. While the clay is fresh. It can be done really well. When the clay dries up, there will be no such effect. Take the tweezers and again, at the base, we begin to make the effect of the bark. So, here to do. We make the kidneys small. Here are the ones. Processes. We press. Irregularities may be made, some crushes. Because the twig has a bunch of different bands, irregularities anyway. Therefore, it will be even better. So, here. You can also do it here. So. Well, what happens? Here. Now you can leave it to dry. Even better. Because when it dries, it will hold its shape better. And now we will hook it and it can wrinkle somewhere. Well, in principle, if everything is done neatly, then you can do it neatly and screw it on. What will be our next step? We will screw this next branch to the main one. And then later, after complete drying, we will create a full band of the twig so that it is beautiful, natural. Here, we'll probably leave it dry after all. While they dry, what else can we do? in between drying. You can also make small buds at the very base of the attachment to the twigs, flowers with leaves. Now we will do it. Let's prepare the glue. We need a stack and green clay. So, we take a very small amount of green clay, roll it out. Here's a pea turns out. We roll it out. We make just such a drop. Flatten slightly and roll it out on your finger. Roll out. Now what can you do? You can take scissors and make a few cuts. Here and here. This is such a small work, but then we give it more realism. And here are these teeth. Let's go over the stack a bit. Let's squash them. Here's what happens. So, it turns out in the form of a crown. We created one such crown. Now we are doing another one. Take a small drop again. Do it. From a small circle. Roll out. This one will already be bigger. Here. In general, they are more like shoots that grow at the base of flowers. Roll out and press with a stack gently. We leave it. What are we going to do with it? I'll twist them now. I take a small drop of glue and apply it to the base. A little bit. Small strokes. Now I will twirl and make a funnel. Here's what happens. The buds are small. The bottom can be tweaked the most. This is a bud. Here's a shape. The leaves are small, green, and it does the same thing. We take the glue, a drop. We dunk it. We coat and twist. This is a smaller bud. The leaves can be bent like this. Here's what happens. Where are we going to fix it? So far we have only done two. So, let's glue it here first. I'll glue at the base. It can be glued between flowers if there is a gap. I'll stick it here to make it more cute. I take a small amount of glue. I put a drop and glue the bud. I press with a stack at the base. You can attach a second one the same way, right here, as long as the glue remains. And I press it in the same way. Here's what we get. Small buds that grow near the branch itself. I hope everything is clearly visible. While they are still like this, they do not hold up very well. Then the glue will dry and the buds themselves will dry. and it will hold on very well. Here is such a nice twig. So, we do the same with others. Take a small drop, more precisely, a small piece, and make a small drop out of it. All this is not difficult. Gently roll out in a stack. We make incisions. On the one hand, on the other. And we go through the stack again. We are flattening to make these buds transparent, more alive. While the clay is fresh, you cannot glue it with glue, but immediately twist the clay. Press gently at the bottom and it will hold well, like this, with your finger. It turns out such a bud. I didn't even need glue. We'll also do this, and it will be enough. We will get this big one. It is better to make it smaller. It will look more natural. We take a small pea. We make a small drop and roll it out. Here is such a small droplet. We make incisions and we go through the stack. While it is fresh, without glue, we begin to twist it in the form of a funnel. Carefully, so as not to tear. It is still thin, delicate. It turned out that we have 2 such buds. And now we glue it. Here we glue it. Glue it at the beginning. This point, and we apply it, pressing down a little stack. So, the bud can be fixed. To make it look more open. Here, and we will glue the second bud next to it. We glue it. We apply it carefully. The 2 buds that we have are nearby. They are growing. Additional leaves, buds. Then when they grow up, we will tint them. Here, you get 2 more buds. They look more natural, lively and more natural. The same thing we do with the 3rd sprig. Then everything dries up and we will collect further. What do we do next? Further, we will connect. Connect the branches. This is the topmost branch that will be attached to the main branch. While we are not doing any bends. The only thing when assembling. I flex a little. This place. So that the twigs can be docked. So, we take the floristic tape. To begin with, we carefully grab it. So, you need glue to hold it tight. You can even do it with super glue. In principle, latex will do. This is the place where we will wind up the floristic tape. So, we go through with the floristic tape like this. This is how we wind it on the glue. We press very tightly and begin to roll in, wrap. Further, you can remove this extra tail, the extra wire too. we take the nippers and remove. So, they wrapped it up. Here's what happened. Now we need to. Now we'll see how it will look on the frame. So, we will be guided by the photo frame. I take a photo frame and look how to arrange it better. Further here, the main wire will still run along the edge. Here, we will bend the wire. Let's give this one a little bend. We will further fix the rest of the pinnacles. Here's what you get. So, now we need to roll a long distance. Somewhere, now I'll see how it will look. This is where the floristic tape ends. We will now wrap up here with brown clay. Let's connect. We take clay. So, it is necessary to grease with glue again. Especially at the starting point, where we will roll in clay, we will coat with glue. Otherwise, the clay may adhere poorly, but we need it to hold well. So, we press and begin to gently pull the clay down. We do not stretch too much so that it does not tear and become too thin. Carefully. And we remove the excess. So, here's what happens. You can make it here. This is the place where the twig dog goes through the stack. So that there are no irregularities, there is no emptiness. So, if you feel that the clay is too close to the previous branch, which is already dry, then you need to smooth it out a little with your fingers. Right here, at the beginning. Further again, we do not need to smoothen much, because we want to bark effect. We take the napkin again. You can squeeze again harder. And we begin gently with embracing movements like this. It is passed along the bark. And it is best to do with the edges where the wrinkled napkin is. The better effect is created. So, here's what happens. Now, again, let's make a small bud. Right here. These are the pinches, clamps. In general, we create bumps. The bark has many irregularities. We need to create a bark effect. Natural color. Effect of naturalness.